Chapter 8. Some days were worse or more annoying than others. Some weren't all that bad. Then again, as I figured, this was just the start. They were probably going to get a lot worse as the days continued. This was a typical day. 9 a.m. Prep for day. Bathing, hair, makeup, and breakfast. 10:30 a.m. Tutor. Lunch will be served over this time. 1 p.m. Personal training. 2 p.m. Free time. 4 p.m. Lessons. 6 p.m. Supper with Mr. Wells. 7 p.m. Free time. 8:30 p.m. Prep for evening. 9:30 p.m. Evening activities. 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Prepare for bed. 12:30 a.m. Lights out. He had my day planned all the way until bedtime. Just how could he keep my day so intact? The schedule did not specify anything. It let me wander with thoughts on what was to happen. I flipped through the pages of the schedule until I reached a list of the activities. I remembered his words, non-negotiable. Reading through the list of acceptable and not acceptable activities, none of them seemed bad at all, minus the fact that I read sex. I didn't want it, but it seemed like there were very few things he expected to receive from me, barely nothing to give. There was a list of rules like, I could only call him Mr. Wells. I needed to reply with a yes, sir, or a no, sir when asked a yes or no question, or start a sentence or end a sentence with sir, establishing his dominance. I was not allowed to touch him unless told. I was not allowed to use my mouth or any part of his body except for his lips. I was not allowed to use tongue. My hands and feet would always be bound during sex. If I spoke out of term, he would gag me. The use of drugs to cause temporary unconsciousness or paralysis was considered acceptable. There were 3 levels of punishment. A pleasure punishment, which stated that he would tease me, making me feel aroused and then cut it off completely. A painful punishment, which according to the paper said he could use any assortment of bondage toys so long as they did not leave any long-lasting marks on my skin. The last one gave me chills. There was something about this man and hair. Why did he love the touch of it so much? Did it turn him on? He labeled the 3rd punishment, the chair. The chair. If the submissive acts out of place, fails to reciprocate, acts of lies, or does anything the dominant sees unfitting, the submissive will be taken to the chair to be dealt with. On the chair, the submissive will be locked into place and the dominant will do as he pleases to the submissive. This can include clippers, straight razors, hair dye, scissors, or products that make hair sticky, brittle, or dirty. All products will be washed from hair in a timely fashion. In the chair, the submissive will not talk. She will take any punishment silently. If the submissive fails in this manner, the dominant may gag or further the punishment in the chair. I wanted nothing to do with the chair. But what would label my punishment to be sent to the chair? It was not made clear. I guess I would just have to be the best I could to avoid it. Prep for the day. Prepping for the day will include bathing, washing of the body and hair, styling of hair and face, and choice of clothing for the day. The submissive will have no part in choosing what they wear. The dominant will choose how the hair is styled. The submissive will remain limp and cooperative when told. If the submissive is consistently not ready to go in the morning, further punishments might happen. Depending on the day will depend how many times preparation must happen. In the evening, the submissive will change into evening appropriate wear chosen by the dominant. Tutor. As the submissive is still in school, the submissive will continue their studies by a chosen tutor. This will allow the submissive to graduate their studies on time. At least I would be able to finish school. Just not with people I spent years of my life growing up with. Personal training. The submissive 3 times a week will engage in physical activity with a certified personal trainer to keep the submissive toned and physically prepared for lessons and evening activities. The submissive is expected to be prepared for these activities in appropriate attire. Lessons. The lessons entailed are those to prepare the submissive for the evening. Sometimes lessons will be for the dominant, and sometimes lessons will be for the submissive. The submissive will do as told. In some cases, the lessons for the submissive will include finding more about her body and the dominance. When the dominant sees that the submissive does not need any more lessons, lessons will no longer be a part of daily routine. Evening activities. Evening activities are either sexual in nature, can include the chair, involved in an evening where the dominant and submissive see a movie, where the submissive is entitled to choose what they do. All evening activities are to be expected to be fulfilled and are non-negotiable. If for some reason the evening cannot be completed, a day can be added to the submissive's contract depending on the situation. Preparing for bed and lights out. The submissive will follow the same sort of preparation in the morning for bed. The submissive will remain limp as the dominant cares for the submissive. This could include washing of the hair, sitting in the bath, brushing of teeth, and any nightly beauty treatments. After routine is complete, the submissive will be locked in their room and expected to be asleep by the designated time on the schedule, so they are ready for the next day. Lights will be turned out by the dominant. During free time was a time I could be by myself. I could swim at my leisure if I really wanted to. I had finished my food. It tasted good. All that was left was the bone of the steak and the glass of wine that I ignored. There was a knock on the door. "It's Miles." "Come in," I said. Miles outright seemed like a good guy. He wasn't scary or anything, but I didn't dare try to ask him questions, though. I heard the door click and open. Miles was carrying a small plastic cup and a glass of water. "I have your medication," he said, as he walked over to me and handed the water and pill to me. "I'm glad that you ate something." "Did you not like the food at breakfast?" he asked. I shook my head. It's not that I didn't like it. I'm just not a hungry person for food in the morning. I find it's hard on my stomach. I'm not a huge fan of sausage, I said. "I will make note of that," he said. I took the pill and swallowed it with the glass of water. "You didn't touch the wine," Miles pondered. "I don't drink alcohol," I replied. "You've never had a drink before?" I shook my head. Well, if you're willing to, would you like to go for a tour of the house now? Mr. Wells will be back in the morning. I could even give you access to the pool if you like," Miles said. "That would be wonderful," I replied. "Then how about we start on the lower floor? There are rooms in which I can't show you, but I will show you what I can," he said. Miles showed me the rooms he could. He showed me the area in which a personal trainer would come. He mentioned that one of the hallways was dedicated as bedrooms for other people, that occasionally other people and their submissives would stay here. He showed me the pool. It was a 10 by 50 meter pool. It was Olympic size and length. If it wasn't for the fact that Miles was standing right beside me, I would have torn my clothes off and dove in to swim. There are 2 more rooms I would like to show you. These rooms may not be your favorite. However, it's best to be familiar with them. It will ease the tension you will have in these places, he said. I nodded. On the bottom floor, underneath the stairs in the foyer, there was a black door. The only black door in the foyer. Using a key in his pocket, he unlocked the door. It didn't lead to much. There was a floor-length mirror as soon as you walked in, and a black door on either side of the mirror. Miles opened the door on the left. This is the room where you will most likely spend your evenings. The room had the same interior as Mr. Wells' office. It was dark and the walls were filled with naked women. There was a large bed at the end of the room, and the rest of the room was filled with toys. Many of them I had no clue what they were. Mr. Wells himself will explain that's in this room. It's not my place to say, Miles said. I felt scared looking into the room. You could see on the bed that there were places for your hands and feet to be tied. Miles shut the door before I could have too much more to look at. This is the final room I have to show you, he said. He turned around and opened the second door. Following the same interior, in the middle of the room was what I was sure to be the chair. It was red leather. The chair had places for each foot, each arm, and there were leather straps to keep the person in the chair from moving. Surrounded the chair was a basin to wash the hair. On the far end was a stand-up shower. You could see leather cuffs hanging from the ceiling in the shower. The walls were mirrors, but black velvet drapes hung to cover them. I want you to sit in the chair, Miles said darkly.